Well, so hello and welcome back yet again. I have had time to collect my thoughts about Mr. Jules Verne and our last book, Journey, or I keep wanting to call it 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea and Journey to the Center of the Earth, and I keep getting those two juxtaposed in my mind. But yeah, other than that, I did enjoy the book so much. And like I kept saying while I was reading it, I'm definitely going to have to find more of Jules Verne because I feel like he probably left an outsized authorial footprint on sci-fi and fantasy in general. Because as I was reading, I kept feeling more and more echoes of modern things in the old thing, which is not exactly the way it's supposed to work. I understand that. I'm actually hearing echoes of Jules Verne when I'm watching modern stuff, but because I saw the modern stuff first, that's the way it kind of seemed to me. But yeah, it was funny because it did feel like an extended Doctor Who episode with Professor Lindenbrock taking the part of the Doctor, at least for some of it. I guess that does make Axel Rory. Unfortunately, we didn't have an Amelia Pond in this or a river song, but that's okay. And if you haven't watched Doctor Who, you're probably like, you're kind of crazy, lady. But if you have watched Doctor Who, you might agree with me. But anyway, that leaves us on the horns of a dilemma. And I do have a poll up right now for our next book. And I highly encourage you to go vote in it. But I figured we'd talk a little bit about the books that we are possibly going to read. Eventually, like I keep saying, we'll read them all. And I do plan on hitting up some used bookstores, well, thrift stores that actually have books in them, and maybe even our local bookstore. But these are the three that I have, and they are all three on the poll. So the first one is well, two of them are from Mr. Charles Dickens, and the first one is Great Expectations, a book that I have never read, and the only thing I know about it is in the Mayfair Witches books by Anne Rice. They are Michael Curry's favorite books, especially Great Expectations. That book is referenced a lot inside of the the Mayfair Witches saga, like Lasher and all of those other books that, of course, I'm drawing a blank on right now because that is always what happens when I sit in front of the camera. It's ridiculous. I will have a name of something on the tip of my tongue. I hit record and poof, it's just gone. I think that's one of the non perks of getting old. Or maybe it's just the camera. I think it's a camera curse. But anyway, Great Expectations, a book that I know nothing about. On the back, it says, in the marshy mists of a village churchyard, a tiny orphan boy named Pip is suddenly terrified by a thieving, limping convict on the run. That doesn't sound good. Years later, a supremely arrogant young Pip boards the coach to London, where, by the grace of a mysterious benefactor, he will join the ranks of the idle rich and become a gentleman. Finally, in the luminous mists of the village at evening, Pip the man meets Estella, his dazzlingly beautiful tormentor, in a ruined garden, and lays to rest all of the heartaches and illusions that his great expectations have brought upon him. I feel like I have more questions reading the back of that novel than I had when I sat down and looked at it the first time. I'm a little disappointed in the back of that novel. It doesn't tell me a whole heck of a lot. But it definitely just sounds like it is a lifetime of a boy named Pip. Okay, well, that is our first one. The second Charles Dickens novel is one that I'm almost positive I read, but if I read it, it was in like 7th or 8th grade, and I don't remember anything about it, and that is A Tale of Two Cities. After finishing A Tale of Two Cities, Dickens said, "It has greatly moved and excited me in doing it. One of his most haunting novels, it has, since its first publication in 1859, continued to exert a grip on popular imagination. Set mainly during the French Revolution in a lethal, vengeful Paris and a leafy, tranquil London, the two cities of the title are only one of the novel's stark dichotomies, which are continued as Sidney Carleton and Charles Darnay are drawn towards their separate destinies, their lives touched by the same woman." See, that was a better back of a novel. That makes me want to read it more than the back of Great Expectations did. And the third one, unfortunately, we don't have a back blurb, but I did go on Goodreads and do a little bit of research into it, and it has an average score of 3.5 on Goodreads. I don't know if those scores mean a whole heck of a lot. I didn't see anything on Goodreads about it being terribly racist, so for a book of that period, that's, I guess, a recommendation. It's called The Winning of Barbara Worth. This one does have the advantage of being illustrated in a few different spots. It's got not terrible illustrations. It seems to be a Western, and despite the title being The Winning of Barbara Worth, it's not actually a story like a romance, the way that Beverly of Graustark was supposed to be a romance. It's more a story of westward expansion and the building of the cities that line the edges of the desert before you get to California. Interesting premise, anyway. So those are our 3 books. Oh, and the one thing I also found out, I didn't research on either of the Dickens books, but this one has a public domain movie that goes with it. So that's kind of cool. And speaking of public domain movies, I'm thinking either this Saturday or next Saturday will be our next public domain movie night. Unfortunately, there are no copies of Journey to the Center of the Earth that are in the public domain. So I was thinking what I would do is go onto the public domain movie list and see if we can find something along those same lines, like a sci-fi public domain movie, maybe like a Journey to a Lost World or something in that vein. I will let you know for sure which one we're going to do and which night we're going to do it once I pick out a good movie. I think it'll be a lot of fun. It will be the same as last time. It'll be on a Saturday night at around 9 p.m., but not this Saturday night, because get your vote in for books, because we will be starting whichever book wins the poll on Saturday night. So I'll probably just do a little updatey thing tomorrow. Yeah, that's about it. My train of thought just went training off somewhere else. I spent all day today editing. I'm not the world's best editor, and I'm very, very slow at it, but I'm picking up speed. I think that's the one drawback. I know not everybody watches my Sims videos, but they get a lot of editing, especially the World of Warcraft Tiny Town Sims videos that I've been doing. I can take 3 hours worth of gameplay and get it down to less than an hour, which just goes to show you how many times I do things like say, I cut all that out because nobody wants to hear that, except I just made you guys listen to it. Anyway, Also, I will have more news. If you've been watching my update videos, I last week mentioned that there are some big changes coming for me personally, and I will probably tell you guys a little bit more about them when I know a little bit more about it. But my empty nest is going to be refilling very, very soon. And my empty nest has never been all that empty. But my son and my son-in-law and my grandkitties are going to be moving in, I think in April. So it'll be a busy time, but I think it'll be a good time. And yeah, that's about it. Don't forget to vote, hit the thumbs up on your way out, and I will see you guys later.